What's going on, Harders?
Episode.
Hardos? What is it, Spinny?
Oh,
What episode is it?
it's episode playing the theme song again.
Oh, yeah.
Replays on the theme song. Classic. Now, episode AK-47. Let's go. Also, should be the episode where Capper McCapperson, Fetty Bus, dumps some water on his head.
Why do I keep
But-
forgetting about this, man?
Yeah, I know. It's tough.
Well, I could do it. Maybe I'll do it at the end. I do have some water here. So
Ooh, you think you're allowed to do it to yourself?
that's what I'm saying, right? Someone else
I don't
can
know.
do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So we were going to
We'll
drop
save
another
it.
episode later this week. So maybe we'll just do it then, right?
Yeah.
Hey, don't let me forget, Spinny. We're not
All right.
pulling the U with Kansas.
Yeah, you're not pulling the
up
40 episodes later.
Yeah. So let's make sure we get it done. AK-47 episode, though, it's only fitting that we start this episode off talking some NBA. And first, we're going to talk some Kendrick Perkins comments. He made, to me, some questionable comments lately, both related to Jokic. The first being that Jokic is stat padding, which I do not buy into whatsoever. Spinny, what do you think about that?
The thing is, like, Jokic seems like the least stat padding athlete I've ever seen or known. Like, this guy seems like he doesn't even know how many points he has during the game or like what, like, I don't know. I just you can sell stat padding to me with a lot of guys, but Jokic is literally like bottom 3 on my list of guys that I think stat pad. So like I just don't see it. I've never seen it. Everything he's ever said, he doesn't care about any of this crap. He wants to win championships and go back to his horses. He doesn't care about anything else. That's what he said the entire time. And I get that's what every player says, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. I just believe it with Jokic. And it was so like opposite of what I thought. I just couldn't even quite grasp it from Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, JJ Redick went in on Kendrick Perkins when he said that. And there's a number of NBA analysts that just completely disagree with that. Most people on Twitter were just like, Kendrick, what the hell are you talking about, man? Like, just watch the games. You can just tell he's just making the right play. You know what I mean? Like, if he's getting double teamed, of course he's going to pass to his open teammate. If they make the shot, like he gets an assist, that doesn't mean he's stat padding. Like, he's just making the right play. He's making the winning play. There's a reason the Nuggets are 25-0 this year when he has triple double. That like they win games. It's not like they're freaking 5-20. You know, then maybe there would be more of an argument for stat padding. But to be 25-0, it just translates to winning.
And like nobody rebounds on the Nuggets really other than him, like at a super effective level. So like I don't think rebounding stat padding either. Like number one, you see a ton of guys that get double digit rebounds. It's not as hard. But number two, he's by far like above and away the primary rebounder on that team. So like those two statistics both are obviously not stat padding, and you don't stat pad points. That's not how that stat works. So
yeah, maybe point shaving.
You don't. I mean, you points, can. I get the garbage time stat padding maybe at the end with points, but like Jokic, yeah, it's just crazy. Kendrick is completely wrong in this situation, and he is polarizing though. You got to give him that. This man is really funny.
Kendrick?
Yeah,
he is
a little bit because he's ridiculous, but.
Hey, I do give Kendrick props. He seems to be the only NBA analyst that supports the Timberwolves and supports Anthony Edwards.
Let's go.
He's constantly shouting out the T-Wolves. So
okay, Simmons has been an Anthony Edwards guy.
Has he?
Since the beginning, but he obviously everyone roasted us for the Rudy trade and the horribleness of our organization. This history with trades, so
that was obviously deserving. For sure.
And the Zach LaVine trade, also not a good one either.
That one has
on either side though.
That one's okay, yeah. That one's a little better. This other statement he said in regards to Jokic, this is what he said, in quotes. When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won MVP that weren't top 10 in scoring. Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. What do these guys have in common? So I listened a little more to his reasoning for saying that. He was essentially saying the bar seems to move for the criteria of NBA, more for white players than any other players. So that's kind of what he was getting at. Do you have? I mean, do you buy into this, Spinny, that they're just moving the criteria here for Jokic just because he's white?
I don't think they're doing it on purpose if they're doing it, but I mean, here's what I'm saying. I don't have enough data to like back up any reasoning on this, and I feel like it's a hard thing to just make assumptions about. But it does make you think a little, and yeah, I mean, it does make you think a little bit.
He pointed out one thing he pointed out was so obviously we know Steve Nash shouldn't have won at least one of those MVPs. Like Kobe should have
Yeah,
definitely won. You know what I mean? So he related that to a couple of years ago when the Suns' best team in the West, Chris Paul out here averaging similar numbers to Steve Nash's MVPs. 18-ish points, double digit assists, and couple years ago, Kendrick made the argument for Chris Paul. It's like, why aren't we talking about Chris Paul for MVP? This is essentially the same season that Steve Nash had. So he said the parameters for MVP weren't moved for Chris Paul. Why are they being moved for Jokic now? But it just seems a little ludicrous to me because they're the number one seed in the West. He's got the team standing behind him. He's got obviously the statistics. So I think it's a little different for Jokic at least this year.
the thing is Jokic has just had the perfect storm of like making steady improvements, and so like he's still like okay, first year right? They were the 6 seed or the 5 when he won the MVP the first year.
First year, I don't know. Last year, they were the 5 or 6 seed for sure.
Yeah,
So,
and 2 years ago they weren't higher than 3. That's for sure.
yeah.
So the first year they were the 3 or 4. He had super good statistics. Second year, he went back to like the 5-6, but statistics and analytics and percentage and like efficiency went to like a dumb level, right? That's year 2. Now year 3, they're the number 1 seed. His efficiency is somehow
Even better.
better, and he's scoring a little less.
Right.
His raw numbers are slightly less. But his efficiency is better, and they're the number 1 seed. So it's just like the 3-year progression for him has just went so well for winning MVP. I don't know, because you can't make the traditional arguments of like, well, he got worse in this area, or he always got better at something, whether it was being more efficient or moving up in a seed, or like just the way all that has kind of fit together really has done some detraction from the classic MVP fatigue that you get, because there's always an argument, and voters are more and more into analytics now and effective field goal percentage and things like that. So that it's just the perfect storm of everything, of winning, of efficiency, of analytics, that whole thing. He fits the traditional and the new school guys, and they're winning more. It's just the perfect storm.
Yeah. So I saw a tweet that kind of puts it perfectly to what you were just saying. First year, Jokic wins MVP from storyline. Everyone's like, you shouldn't win MVP based off the storyline, which I pretty much agree with that. Second year, he wins from stats. Like what are you going to do there? Then the only argument was, oh, the MVP needs to be a top 3 seed in the conference, the winning. And now this year, he's got the stats, he's got the winning, and guys like Kendrick Perkins are leaning more towards this potential racism in the MVP voting. So that's why it just seems like a little reach to me. Because, like you said, he's done everything, or he's countered every argument year by year here going forward. So, yeah, that seemed to be a little bit of a reach. But he made some semi decent points, relating the Steve Nash to Chris Paul, essentially same stats, same amount of wins. So yeah, it's
I
definitely
don't want to discount it. Obviously, it's
right.
just I think with the Jokic one especially, there's some other factors playing into it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, most recent news, we got Ja Morant flashing a pistol on his Instagram live. It's kind of ridiculous. This is so. These are some Ja Morant issues that he's had earlier this season, or actually earlier, I think in February. Um, Apparently, his inner circle allegedly aimed a red laser at Pacers security. in an aggressive confrontation. It was through a window, so people are thinking it's like a gun on or laser on a gun or whatever. Then the report comes out recently, which I had heard of this summer, but major media outlets finally got a hold of the police report, and that was that he allegedly punched this teen like at least 12 times and then flashed a gun at the teen. Obviously, his lawyer came out and said that was self defense or whatever. It's still coming out there. It's obviously not a headline you want to be in. And then even a couple days ago, like a week or so ago, he was accused of threatening a security guard at a mall. And now just yesterday, a couple days ago or whatever, he flashes his gun on Instagram Live. Spinny, what the hell is going on with John Morant?
It's tough for Jaw. I feel for him. I think I think he took responsibility for his actions in his statement and what he said. I think it did a
You want me
decent
to read
job.
the statement?
Yeah, why don't you read the statement?
Ja's statement here. I take full responsibility for my actions last night. I'm sorry to my family, teammates, coaches, fans, partners, the city of Memphis, and the entire Grizzlies organization for letting you down. I'm going to take some time away to get help and work on work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being. That was his statement.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy. I think the behavior is not awesome. I think he said as much in his statement. I know the behavior is not awesome. I messed up. Might be. I'm going to go try to fix what I need to fix and be a better person. But I mean, it's tough. Like I don't understand. Like I don't want to like talk about Jaw like I know him or anything. But if you saw what Jalen Rose said, I think he really summed it up well. Just about the the feeling you have growing up the way Jaw did, similarly how Jalen Rose did, and just how getting money early affects people and how it changes your role within your family and all that type of stuff. It's just really tough for him. And not to mention the stress of that playing in the NBA does bring, which obviously most people would give up anything to do that. So I'm not like, I get both sides of this argument, but it is stressful either way. And the pressure is high either way. So just all that adding up, I feel for the guy. And I think sometimes the people he chooses to surround himself with don't seem like the best people either. So I think from an outsider's perspective, that's the impression that it gives. Yeah, so that's where I'm at on Jaw. I think he did a good job, and I hope everything was genuine with it. And as long as it was, and he changed his behavior, I think it'll be fine.
So the Grizzlies suspended him for at least 2 games, these next 2 games. Do you think there needs to be a further punishment? I saw that he was in Denver because that's who they recently played. So there's some talk here. Obviously, they're still doing the investigation. A lot more to come out. There's talk here that he potentially brought the gun on a team plane. Because like, how else are you getting the gun to Denver? You know what I mean? Um, that there's very strict rules against bringing weapons to team facilities or on team flights. So he could be facing a very severe suspension from the NBA itself. But what
Well,
do you think about that?
we saw where Gilbert Arena, what happened with
Right,
Gilbert Arenas, and then a similar, like,
50
awful
games he
situation.
got.
So yeah, so I think like if the team playing situation is true, that could be a thing, and again, that affects a lot of things, not only him but his teammates and the Grizzlies' chances in the West and this season for them, really.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously crying for help, essentially, right? Like, obviously doing it in the wrong way, but it's clear like he has some sort of mental health issue right now, where whether it's just stress or anxiety, I don't know what it is, but flashing a gun on your own IG live, like that, like I just don't get it. I don't know if I've ever seen a professional athlete do that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not smart behavior. That's for sure. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it was I don't think it was the best choice by him. I think he admitted to it, and I hope he does better. And that's all we can. We got to give him the space to try to change at this point. I guess that's where we're at with it, huh?
Yep. Surround yourself with better people, Ja, and things like this just probably won't happen anymore. So
I I have a third NBA related headline to
okay,
throw at you.
okay.
What do you think about the? Have you seen the Kevin Durant, Charles Barkley, Shaq commentary back and forth?
Yeah, so I haven't. I've seen like some general headlines. I haven't seen what
Yeah,
was specifically said, but
yeah.
I did see that. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but essentially they're just getting at like he needs to win one this year, right?
Well,
He needs
they
to
were
win
just
one without the
it,
Warriors
it's
or
just
something.
like the consistent like Barkley saying he's not the bus driver, that type of thing. And KD was just I'm sorry, I should have had the tweet ready for y'all, but Durant just essentially clapped back and said, "I don't have anything to prove to either of these guys. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm a hooper. I've gone everywhere and done what I needed to do. Like, and that's one thing I will give Durant. And I want to see what you thought about this specifically. Is there something to say about the fact that he pretty much has been successful every single place he's went and fit instantly with the team that he's with? Like, I don't know if every great player could do that. What do you think about that thought?
Yeah, I do disagree with what Charles and Shaq were saying. Like, 'cause I know a lot of what they were saying had to do with KD being the leader of a
Yes.
team, and they wanted to see him doing that without the Warriors. Not everyone is a leader. It doesn't matter how good you are as a player. The leader of your team could be a guy that doesn't even play. So I just don't I don't so I'm agreeing with you, Spin. I just don't buy in to the fact that KD needs to be the quote unquote leader. He's doing whatever he needs to do from a statistic standpoint, from drawing defenders, drawing extra attention, making the right plays. In that regard, he's done everything he needs to do.
And
So
that's
I
what
don't.
Kate and that's what KD said. KD's like, Monty Williams is the leader of this team. Like, we got a coach, we got a
Right. Sometimes
GM.
it's the
They
coach.
every
Yeah.
We do this as a team. Everyone does their job. I show up and ball. I show up and score 30,
It, yeah.
30 to 35 every single game, shoot at
He does his
least
role.
50%, and you can literally count on it always. It's
Yeah.
something that is an interesting like dichotomy, right? Because we always talk about players like LeBron and those really, really great guys like taking their team and leading it and taking it somewhere. But there's also something to be said about the adaptability of being able to be your best in any situation, in
In
any
any
system,
environment.
with any
Yeah.
teammates.
Yep.
Like, that is something that KD brings that I think is overlooked as well from others' perspectives.
And guys like Shaq and Charles and other old heads are essentially just deeming success as wins. But we all know teams get wins. Teams win championships. KD alone will not win a championship. If the Suns don't win a championship this year, it's not just KD's fault. If they win a championship this year, it's not just because they have KD on their team.
Yep.
So he's doing what the coach asked for him in all these different environments, all these different teams, like you said, all these different players, whatnot. He is accepting his role and doing his role night in and night out, which is all you can ask for from an individual player. So yeah,
Exactly.
I'm with you on that. I'm with
Yes,
you on that.
sir. I just wanted to
Well,
throw that at you quick.
no, that was a good one. I did see that one. I should have maybe had that one written down as well. Well, you ready to jump to college basketball?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Conference tournaments, they're coming up this week. A lot of them start, tomorrow, Tuesday. Um, so let's just start with the ACC, huh?
Let's do it.
ACC tournament standings. We got Miami is the 1, Virginia 2, Clemson 3, Duke 4, Pitt 5, NC State 6, UNC 7, Syracuse 8. Those are the top 8. Spinny, who do you like winning the ACC tournament?
This is tough. ACC basketball is definitely not what it was this year. on a normal basis. This was a hard one for me. Lots of teams good at home, mid on the road, ton of that going on. Lots. I think anybody could win this. I'm I'm gonna do something a little crazy, not that crazy, but something that is gonna get the haters going, and that's I'm gonna pick Duke. I think Duke's gonna pull it off in the ACC tournament, winning it up. I don't trust Virginia. Miami's been Miami's been a good team this year, and they're obviously probably the favorite. And I'm just not picking Virginia out of my dislike for them. So I'm letting my bias
Anti-Virginia.
jump in. Yeah, anti-Virginia takes. And so yeah, and I don't necessarily trust Miami, so I think Duke's experience is gonna get it done for them.
Yeah, I could picture that. I'm going to stick with the one seed. I'm going to rock Miami in this one. Their offense has just been incredible this year. But I do think Miami and Duke would meet in the semifinal. I do think the winner of that game is going to win the ACC tournament. I do believe that. So I'm with you on the Duke has a shot. That's for sure. Looking at the bottom of this bracket here, it's Virginia and Clemson, NC State, North Carolina. I could see North Carolina getting to the championship game. I really could. They've been playing well this year, obviously in 2023. I'm saying they just took that tough loss at home to Duke last night, obviously, but they're an experienced team. They made this run last year, and there's desperate teams at this time of the year. They just play a lot better, and they're definitely desperate because right now they're first four out. They're not even making the tournament, so they need to make some noise in this ACC conference tournament. And I think when they're playing desperate like that, they're definitely a very good team.
Agreed.
Let's jump to your conference here, huh? Nova's conference, the Big East. As I'm popping these up, I know your squad. They're only a 6 seed, I
Yeah,
believe, this year.
it's tough. Marquette, Xavier, Creighton, UConn, Providence, Nova
Yep.
is your top six. Yeah, definitely a down year for the squad, 16 and 15. Coming on as of late, couple ranked wins in the Big East over. Man, sorry, we're having loading notes issues over Creighton and Xavier back to back games. So that's 2 and 3 games ago, respectively. So nice season for them. Marquette's obviously the story though of this conference this year. Marquette is the 6th seed. What do you think about that, Bus?
They're
6th seed in the
sixth
nation.
ranked right now in
Yeah,
the country.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Shock Smart is there now, right? He's their coach, I believe.
Yes. Let me make sure we're on. But yes, I believe that is correct.
Yeah, he is. Shaka Smart's their coach. Man, I honestly haven't watched any Marquette basketball this year, so that it shocks me that they're ranked that high. But I know they've been a good program for how many years now. They got guys that stick it out, all 3-4 years. So I mean, that's what you want for a college basketball team. You want
Yeah,
experience. You want a good coach, and they have that. They do.
yeah. Marquette's got a ton of balance too. They got 4 guys scoring at basically 12 points a game. Cam Jones has been their best player this year. Obviously, he's in All American consideration, so a great season for him. We're at like 15-7. Sorry, 15-7. So great season for him. I think Marquette's going to win the conference. I just think they're better talent wise than pretty much everyone else, especially on a like 1-7 basis. So I think it's going to look good for them. And who knows, maybe a different Big East team will actually make some noise in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it does seem like there's always at least one Big East team that makes a run in the tournament. I mean, you got just historically, you've got going back obviously at least 10 years now, but you have Butler, Creighton's made some runs. UConn's obviously won a couple national titles in our lifetime. So this is definitely a conference that's deep this year. It could definitely make some serious noise in the national tournament. I'm with you though. I'm rocking Marquette as well. I just don't see them getting beat in this conference tournament, especially while playing at home. So I could see a potential Xavier Creighton, the 2 or 3, winning this. But I'm not really liking anyone else. Spinny, is Nova team even making the national tournament this year? Or are they gonna have
I
to make
don't
some
think so.
noise?
They'd have to make some noise. They'd have to at least like get to the championship, like to have. I mean, they're 16-15, right? So probably have
Yeah,
to win the tournament to be in, most likely. So
that's
that's
crazy.
probably the point we're at right now. I also did want to correct too. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. Cam Jones 3.7 rebounds per game, not 7 rebounds. So just wanted to make that quick little stat correction there. So where are we going next?
We're going to the Big Ten next. This conference is obviously headlined by one of the top teams in the country, and that's Purdue being 26-5, 15-5 in the conference. Their conference tournament is not yet finalized because there were a couple games today. So I can only read you the current standings as they are. Coming into today, it was Purdue, Indiana, Northwestern, Michigan State, Michigan, Illinois, Maryland, and Iowa. What's interesting about the Big Ten, though, essentially all those teams I just read are all either 11-8 or 11-9 in conference. So we're going to have a lot of shakeup here. That's why these games today were very important for a lot of these teams. So a lot of
Two
shakeup coming in this
questions.
next day.
2 questions for you, Bus, going in.
Okay.
Number one, Gophers are winning, right? Biggest upset in Big Ten conference history. Come back, 16 seed conference champs for the old Goldie Gophers.
I can't even take that question serious, Spinny. Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Second question: who has the best chance to beat Purdue?
Best chance to beat Purdue. I'm rocking Indiana. I am.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know it's, kind of an obvious answer given they're currently the 2 seed, but just a week or so ago, they beat Purdue by 8, 79-71. So they have had the experience this year of already beating them. Actually, now that I'm looking at the schedule, they swept them. So it would be a tough way. I mean, you can't really beat Purdue 3 times, I don't think, in a year. So maybe I should probably change my answer. But they've beaten them twice out of their 5 losses. I think maybe they could do it again. They're led by Trace, I should say, Jackson Davis, stud freshman. So yeah, I think I just got to stick with Indiana, right? That'd be your team too, right?
Yeah, I mean, no one really actually believes in Northwestern, do we? I don't think so.
Sadly, no.
Michigan State's a year away. Michigan's wishy-washy. None of these teams I really believe in.
I hate saying this. Potentially Iowa, though, just given their experience. They're
Ooh,
led by a lot of seniors. They still have
true.
Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's brother, leading the way there. So that could be a team that could make some noise in this conference tournament. No, but your first
Jameer
question though, Gophers getting dubbed right away. 2 conference wins this year, absolutely terrible.
Jameer Young and Hakeem Hart in Maryland. Do you have any belief in the ranked Terrapins? You got any belief in those boys over there?
No, I don't have any
Do you
belief.
not have any belief in them? You're out on Maryland. All
I'm
right.
out on Maryland, man.
I think Maryland could make a semifinal run. Just saying.
Okay, okay, I could see
All
it.
right.
Let's jump to the
On
Big
to the
12 now.
next.
Big 12, best conference in college basketball right now. Um, you're going to see some matchups in this conference tournament that could literally be a Sweet 16 matchup. I mean, we got as it last standed, I think there was 4, maybe 5 teams ranked either as a 2 or a 1 seed. It's just ridiculous. Last I saw, it was 3 of the 4 2 seeds were from the Big 12, and then Kansas was a 1 seed. Obviously, Texas just took down Kansas. There might be a little shakeup there. Just like the Big 10, this bracket was not yet finalized. So I can't give you the specific order here of the tournament seedings, but it is Kansas, Texas, K State, Baylor, TCU, Iowa State would be your top 6 teams in the Big 12. Spinny, who do you like out of this conference?
Kansas is one of the top 4 teams in the country, but I will never pick them. I could not.
Obviously.
I could not dislike a college basketball team and a college overall more than the Kansas Jayhawks. So my dislike for them again has clouded my probable logical judgment. But I'm gonna rock. We're gonna go emotion on emotion, and we're gonna rock with the classic old Minnesota boy, and we're gonna take Texas. And Marcus Carr is gonna do some fun stuff and win a Big 12 conference tournament. That would be cool to see, honestly. We're going with
That'd
our
be cool
hearts
to
in
see.
today's episode.
Man, it's almost heartbreaking to see this man just eating like that.
Yeah, I mean, a little heartbreaking, but like, I mean, get some better coaches then, Gophers. I mean, come on, like we're struggling here.
What? Okay, so I've heard a lot on each side of this argument. So let me ask you the question: Pitino or Ben Johnson? Were we too early on firing Pitino?
No, I mean, no, but like Ben Johnson is not the guy. I think it's a lose-lose. I think Patino and Ben Johnson
Okay,
is a
I
lose-lose,
agree.
if I gotta be honest. Like it's gonna take a big name coach and figuring that out to like we have no history as a basketball program. None. Like none recently that anyone cares about. So like and our NIL money up here in Minnesota is not great in comparison to other places as well. So it's gonna take a big time coach to like actually make a push to get. It's not like you have to be a huge great recruiter, but you got to keep the Midwest kids in the Midwest and for sure keep the Minnesota kids in the state. And we haven't seen a single person be able to provide an argument like because guys want to go to the league, right? These top guys that you need to win, like they want to go to the league. And if you can't like show a good realistic path to that, why would they come there? And I just don't
Man,
know if
not even that level. We can't even land our 4 or 3-star recruits in
yeah,
this state. It's
yeah.
terrible. We did just land
Also,
Isaac Azuma out of Cherry, 1A kid committed to the Gophers. He's like a 3 or 4-star recruit. Second, I believe he's a junior, second in his class in the state, I believe. So
what do you think about
good
this
land there.
5-star decommitment?
I mean, just like you were saying, like what do you expect him to do? We're not good. Like he may be committed initially to be like, oh, I want to be the guy that turns the program around,
Yeah.
puts Minnesota Gophers back on the map.
Yep.
And then he just saw this absolutely ridiculously bad year. I was like, yeah, that's maybe a little too much to overcome. So can't blame the guy. He's top 25 recruit in the country. He wants to go league, like you were saying. So he wants to go to a better program where he can get more exposure.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily blame Ben Johnson. I hope the newly appointed AD of sports improvement, Hugh McCutcheon, can come up with some cool improvements for Gopher basketball. I think that should probably be the first squad on his improvement list. So
Sorry, y'all. We just kind of went on a Gopher tangent there when we were talking Big 12, but it was
that's
just a
okay.
question. It was just a question I had to ask. To
Yep.
wrap up the Big 12, though, sorry, Spinny, I'm taking Kansas. Their track record of winning this tournament
Yeah.
is just insane. So I think
It's
Bill
too
Self just
good.
gets it done.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
What?
that is the smart logical pick for sure.
Right. But like I said to start it off, there's potential Sweet 16 matchups or Sweet 16 teams meeting up in this conference tournament.
This
So
tournament's gonna be fun. Really
yes,
fun to
very fun.
watch.
Definitely tune into this one. Let's jump to the Pac-12 though. 2 more power conferences here to go through. Pac-12: UCLA 1, Arizona 2, USC 3, Oregon 4, Washington State 5, Arizona State, Utah, Washington round out 6 through 8 seeds. This conference, in my opinion, has been a little weak compared to past years. I think it's pretty top heavy here. I only can see UCLA or Arizona pulling this one out. Obviously, UCLA just downed Arizona last night by 9 points. So I'm going to stick with UCLA. They're led by veteran point guard Tiger Campbell. He was on that Final Four run. So I think that experience will definitely go a long way as they go at the end of this season here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the favorite this time. Jacquez Jr. obviously is a baller for UCLA as well.
Yeah, they
Seen
still
him
got him. Forgot.
be hooping 6'7", 6'7" guard. So obviously he's creates matchup issues, and yeah, I just think they're a slightly better team than Arizona, and I just want to pick the favorite for once. So we're gonna take UCLA.
Okay, SEC, Bama, A&M, Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Florida. First, I just want to shout out Vandy, as painful as it is for me to do that, because they always seem to have Kentucky's card, no matter how bad they are. they have made some great improvements this year. Oh my gosh, to be a top 6 seed. This is a team that like for essentially our whole lifetime was anywhere from 10 to 14 in this conference. So this is like the only time I can remember them even being in contention here. So I just want to shout out Vandy for flipping the script and getting back on the winning track. Obviously, you know my answer here though, Spinny. Kentucky. I'm rocking Kentucky. They beat Arkansas, a good Arkansas team by 9 yesterday, and they were severely shorthanded without our starting point guard, Casey Wallace, without our backup point guard, Spear Wheeler, our shooter, CJ Frederick. He was playing with a broken rib. He played through that yesterday. So we are very shorthanded with our guards. We had Jacob Toppin, our 4-man, playing point guard yesterday, and we still beat a very good Arkansas team. We're playing well at the right time. We got defending National Player of the Year Oscar Tshiebwe, who obviously probably not going to repeat with Zach Edey having the season he's having. But I'm rocking Kentucky. We're playing well at the right time of year.
Yeah, I mean, this is hard. This is just a bunch of teams that bust likes. So it's like, man, I can't even decide between these squads here. I'm gonna take Bama though. I mean, like, Brandon Miller is obviously ridiculously good, despite interesting off court field
Interesting.
activities. But yeah, I think Bama's got an overall good team too. Sears is obviously a very good guard. So they have good guard play, and then they also have Brandon Miller. So that part's cool.
They have that go-to.
Yeah, and it's cool to see Javon Quinterly getting some actual minutes in college basketball. That's fun to see.
Says a lot about Javon's character for him to accept the bench role this year. I'll tell you that much. Been the starter last year, and for this year to accept that 6-man role, and he's playing amazing. So shout out to Javon Quinterly for you need leaders like that to make a run at this time of year. And so Alabama's definitely a dangerous team. I'm obviously biased with my opinion. One last comment though I have to say about this conference. Wow, this is Zakai Ziegler torn ACL. That just completely ruins any remote chance Tennessee had of making a run. They can't. I know he's like what 5'9", 5'10", but he is their leader. He's their starting point guard. He's a feisty little defender out there. The 5 seed Tennessee, they've lost all hope in my opinion. Maybe I'm a little biased by saying that, but you just can't win without a starting point guard.
Yeah, I mean, we all know guard play in the tournament is where guard play and shooting. That's what it takes.
100%. Well, to round out our little college basketball talk, we're going to talk top 5 college basketball players of all time, just because Antoine Davis almost broke Pistol Pete's scoring record. I was crazy. I was watching in the game. He definitely had his chances. He shot like 8 for 23 that game or something. So he had his chances. He could have definitely broke it. One thing to say about Pistol Pete's record, though, that was 3 years. And in Pistol Pete's time, freshmen were not allowed to play varsity college sports. So his freshman year, he didn't even play. And if you would have counted his freshman year stats, like on JV or whatever, he had over 4,000 points in college, which is absolutely insane. So that's why we want to talk about this right now. Number 1 on my list, who I assume is number 1 on your list, and that is the obvious answer. Lou Alcindor obviously changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This man averaged 26 points per game and 15 and a half rebounds per game in his college career. Those weren't just 1-year numbers. Those are his career college stats. 3-time national champion, obviously UCLA Bruins there. Final 4 MVP all 3 of those times, and 3-time National Player of the Year. There's just no other answer, right?
Yeah, I mean, UCLA had been a dynasty, also without him and after him and such. But
true.
His freshman team, his freshman year, beat the UCLA varsity team consistently in practice, and the UCLA varsity team that year made a deep run in the tournament. It's just nutty difference. Super efficient player. Kareem was, I mean, obviously we're talking about a very, very long time ago, but it is really, really unbelievable basketball.
From here, it's wide open in my opinion. Any order you can come up with, and I'd probably accept it. Tons of guys you could make arguments for in the top 10, top 5. I'm going Pistol Pete though. LSU. We just talked about him. Still has the scoring record, so he's all-time leading scorer in NCAA history without a 3-point line and with no shot clock. All-time leading scorer in NCAA history. Ridiculous how he was able to score that many points. 44 points per game is his college career average.
44.
44.
44. That's 83 games, too. So he basically played an NBA season worth of college games and averaged 44.
Like what?
Do we have to
I
say
just
anything else? I don't
we
know.
don't. We really don't. 2-time National Player of the Year. Maybe that's the only other thing we need to say. But 44 points per game, no 3-point line, no shot clock. It's not like he was rushed to get shots up. There's no shot clock to hold the ball the whole time if they wanted to.
Literally.
It's ridiculous. So you had Pistol Pete then too.
I did also. That was my 1-2 as well.
Okay. How about 3? What do you got at 3?
3 for me is Oscar. 2 Final Four leading appearances for Cincy, 34, 15, and 5, essentially averaged throughout all of college. Yeah, crazy stats for Oscar, taking a non-traditional basketball power to the Final Four. So impact and stats, great combo. I think there's a bunch of guys that could go here, but Oscar's my personal choice.
Okay. Yeah, I have him at 4. So my 3 is Bill Russell. 21 points per game, 20 rebounds per game is his career average. Made the random San Fran team a national contender. They won 2 titles in his time there. He also won 2 National Player of the Years. Like you said, it's tough separating these guys. Basically, essentially in the same era too. Obviously, Bill little before Big O, but I just had to go Bill there just for taking San Fran to literally national champions twice.
Yeah, national championship for UC San Francisco in basketball is nuts. Plus 20 and 20. Obviously, Bill, classic ultimate winner. He's who I had at 4, so we just
4.
had our 3-4s flipped there.
5 here is wide open. I'm interested to hear who you got at 5.
I debated this so long. Like Shaq was in my list. I even thought about putting a guy like Leitner in my list for like the well, number one for the Wolves relation, but also for the winning and impact and all that. But I decided on Magic Johnson, 17, 7.6, and 7.9. So essentially 17, 8, and 7 career average in college basketball. Won the national championship for Michigan State. Obviously, impact there. And just someone that wasn't in the 60s. I felt like we had to get someone on our list out of the 50s or 60s. So I put Magic in there. Larry Bird, also Indiana State, taking them to the national championship, right? That's got to be someone you think about. There's a bunch that could be in this. Shaq, many others.
Wilt Chamberlain, 30 points per game, 18 rebounds per game. He obviously only played 2 years, I believe, 48 career games. There's so many guys. I put Bill Walton. Obviously, UCLA. He's part of the dynasty. He got 2 titles, 3 National Player of the Year awards, career average of 20 points per game and 16 rebounds per game. So Bill Russell's definitely in contention there for that 5 spot.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you put someone not from the old days. I definitely should have done that.
I don't know. I just felt like I had to rep off the top of your head, right? So no stats, just where your brain's at. Can you name me the top guy like in your head after 2005? 2005 or later? Best
See,
player in
that's where it
basketball
gets
on
tough
team.
because that's where it gets really tough because basically it's kind of like almost the one and done era. It's almost the start of it there. So a lot of the guys that come to mind would have been in this conversation had they stayed in college. Your ADs win National Player of the Year as a freshman, Kevin Durant, even Zion, I would say would have been an absolute stud in college had he stayed all 4 years. The one and done guys are the ones that come to mind.
So you
have
got
a
to
different
balance
answer?
that versus the as is guys, right? Like guys like Jalen Brunson come to mind, 2 national championships of National Player of the Year. pretty good stats throughout a 4-year college. So I guess
Yeah.
it's weighing those talent guys versus the maybe lesser talent guys that actually did stay and balled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Honestly,
I
don't know
couldn't
how
come
I
up with
forgot about
somebody.
Brunson.
I did that for myself, but I couldn't really. Brunson just came to mind because of he was the one on the 2 national championships and got the player of the year. But
He came to mind because that's your boy and that's your squad.
well, yeah, that too. He's my boy.
All right. That was an interesting list. Drop comments. I'm interested to hear y'all's top 5 college players of all time. But if you don't at least have Kareem and Pistol Pete in your top 5, don't even bother commenting it because your list is terrible.
Facts.
All right, let's finish this episode off. A little more NBA talk here. We're going to talk kind of what we think the standings will look like when the season's done, as well as predict the awards. So let's start with the East. We got the Bucks half game ahead of the Celtics right now for that one spot. Sixers are 3. I don't know why. Sixers are 3. Cavs are 4. Knicks are 5. Oh my gosh, my computer is lagging so hard.
Brooklyn,
I'm sorry, folks.
6,
Nets,
Miami 7,
and Hawks 8.
Yeah.
Raptors 9. Wizards 10. Spinny, what kind of shakeup do you envision before the end of the season?
Chicago's in. Pat Bev impact makes a difference. Chicago keeps on their run, makes it in.
Yeah. In or like making the top 10?
In the plan. They made it in the plan.
Okay.
I think Washington's out. I just don't trust them, even though Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis is actually like a pretty decent combo. I mean, but I just don't trust them. Never have. Cohesiveness seems weird. I think Chicago's going to make a little run here. Puts them in, but I think both them and Toronto lose. I think the top 8 right now is probably who's in. Brooklyn probably falls. I have Brooklyn maybe at the 8, Atlanta at the 7, Miami at the 6. Yeah, and I think the top remains basically the same. Hoping for myself personally that Boston gets the 1, but that's just
what do you
a
think?
tight race to the end. I'm gonna take Boston.
You're gonna take your squad. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rock with the Bucks. Just the way they've been playing lately. Obviously, they won. They did just lose, but I think it got to 16 wins in a row. So that's an incredible win streak in today, especially in today's NBA. So I just like how they've been playing. How about the Sixers? Let's talk about the Sixers here for a little bit. Can they finally make the finals, or at least the Eastern Conference Finals? We haven't even seen Joel Embiid make it past the second round. Spinny, is this finally the year that they do it or no?
Okay, so let's talk about this. First round matchup, they're either going to get Knicks, Brooklyn, Miami, Atlanta. Most likely 4 teams. I think they should beat all of those teams. The Knicks is probably the one that, just given how Brunson's playing, if that's their matchup, they're hating their life. Because the Knicks could, I think, steal that one, honestly.
That is the one team that like semi matches up with Philly. So I agree there.
Second round, I'm just gonna assume top 4 seeds win because we already talked about the Knicks, and I think Knicks Cleveland would be the best first round series. I think other than that, I think Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly are obviously winning the first round. Cleveland, New York's gonna be a really fun, really good series. I think that'll be awesome to watch. And then the thing is for Philly is they're going to be on the road against Boston or Milwaukee in the second round.
Exactly.
And like, I don't love that. I think if I'm Philly, I'd rather play Boston just because I think Embiid can rock against Boston.
Yep.
Rob Williams is great, but I don't love him one-on-one guarding Embiid. It's not really his role. Horford's done a good job in the past, but he's obviously almost 40 years old. So, who knows how long that can stand up. Whereas Milwaukee's Giannis Lopez combo is about the best that there's going to be in the league guarding Embiid.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think they can win against either of those teams though on the road. I don't trust them at all.
I don't either. And it's tough for me to say that given the immense amount of talent they have on their roster. I mean, they have a top two, top three for sure MVP candidate in Embiid. You got Harden, who has embraced the playmaking role, floor general role this year, playing extremely well. You got obviously your third and fourth options in Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. They got plenty of dudes, but I don't know. In a 7-game series, I don't know if I can pick them over the tremendous team defense that the Bucks and the Celtics both play. So
I know.
I just don't.
And like Embiid's never done anything. Doc Rivers is probably the one of the biggest current choke artist coaches that we have. And
Yep.
as much as he's done well at some points, James Harden has been a classic playoff sleeper. So like his stats go down in the playoffs, Doc's winning percentage goes down in the playoffs, and we all have seen the horrible late game adjustments he's made. And Embiid always shrinks to the pressure, especially against Boston. So I just don't love any of that in the second round.
I agree. I had to ask that question because I'm seeing a lot of like analysts thinking like this is the year they at least make these conference finals, but I still just don't see it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't love that match unless they can somehow pull the 3.5, 4 game comeback and get that 1 seed, but I don't see that happening.
All right, let's jump to the West now. Nuggets got a 6-game lead over the Grizzlies. Kings 3, Suns 4, Warriors 5, T-Wolves 6, Mavs 7, Clippers 8, Jazz 9, Pelicans 10. Wow. I mean, you got Lakers 11, only 1 game out of the play-in. You got 12 is the Thunder, 1.5 out, and same with the Blazers, also 1.5 out, sitting at the 13 seed. Spinny, it's a very crowded West. What do you think about the standings as they are now and how they're going to shake up by the end of the season?
I never in a million years thought I would say this season, but I've been I put all my take stock on the other side of this, so we're going all in with this take, and I think it's gonna be a very surprising one. You have a guess? You have a guess what it is, Bus? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Shoot it.
The winner of the West, representing them in the NBA Finals, is going to be the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are winning the West, man. Like, they're looking good again.
You mean the playoffs, obviously. They're obviously not going to win.
No. Yes. Sorry. But they're the 5 seed right now. They're only a game and a half back of Phoenix. I could see them snaking that 4 seed. Can you imagine? I mean, we're looking best odds at Phoenix Golden State first round series.
Wow.
That's going to be nutty.
That would be so insane.
Also, our Wolvies sticking at the 6 seed, so we're looking good on our bet here for my personal Wolves standings. We're liking it.
Yeah, I think obviously the Mavs could overtake us given the acquisition of Kyrie. They're only a half game behind us here. Just looking at the rest of the standings, though, I'm kind of liking the top 10, honestly. A week ago, I would have 100% told you the Pelicans are out, but with this LeBron injury, I just don't see the Lakers being able to keep winning and getting in. Maybe the Jazz fall out and you see like a Thunder or Blazers start winning more and get in. But I don't know. They've been playing pretty well all year, and the Blazers just continue to lose for some reason. I don't get it. They obviously need to get more guys for Dame because 32 points per game for Dame this year should probably have a better record than 29 and 34. But the Nuggets obviously are going to win the West regular season wise. I hope the Wolves stay at the 6 though, because if we get the Kings first round, I am absolutely loving that. That is a team we can 100% beat in the first round.
Who do you think has the only team in the West with a road record better than 1 game above 500? So the Nuggets are 16 and 15. They're 1 game above on the road. Everyone else is below 500 except this team in the West.
Well, obviously the Kings. I'm looking at the standings too. So
okay. So that's my thing.
That is crazy.
Sacramento.
They ought to win on the road. Yeah, that's true. But do they
Yeah, they
have the
do.
playoff experience to win on the road?
No, they obviously don't. But the Wolves don't have the playoff experience either.
That's
And
fair.
it, I kind of would like that series just from the perspective of it's going to be a track meet and it's going to be awesome, and all the games are going to be in the 120s because neither team can play a lick of D, and it's going to be awesome. But I don't love our chances. I don't know. How many times is De'Aaron Fox going to score 40 against us in the playoffs?
That man has been on a tear, and especially in the fourth quarter. Holy
Yeah.
moly, is he a clutch time god this year? It's crazy, and that's one of my boys. So I do love seeing that. But he better not be doing that against the Wolves if they were our first round matchup. I don't know about this Warrior take though. By you, you think they're just going to overcome this absolutely brutal showing on the road that they've shown this year?
I know that is the one thing that's been tough, and that's been my biggest thing with them. It's just they're finally starting to look good. Like their
Curry,
last games are
Curry's
coming
back today.
together. Their defense
Curry's
is
playing
coming
today.
together, and we haven't seen Curry yet. Exactly. They're finally looking like they're doing it. Draymond is playing some of the best defense in the NBA right now currently. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's
I would
mostly
agree.
his off ball stuff. Like the man is in the right help defense position 100% of the time. It's like he's a robot with help defense. So that has been something that Draymond impacts the game on hugely, as well as he's like, it seems like he got more athletic or something. Like he had a little rejuvenance and he can actually play on ball D again and has been good at it this season. So I've just been impressed with that for Draymond. It seems like he's talking again. Maybe the pool thing is they're finally getting past this crap. Wiggins, was kind of off with his thing. Hopefully he'll be, back soon and up to his
They
form.
they've never said they've never said what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm
And
I'm praying for them though because it's a personal issue or whatever. That's what they
yeah,
list them out as.
so it's something probably family related, but and Klay Thompson has had the best January. He's had the best 2 month stretch in 4 years for Klay
Yeah,
Thompson. So
you can make the argument in his entire career even. The
if
dude has
if
been
Klay
cooking.
if Klay can score 25 a game, the Warriors are really, really dangerous. Like really dangerous.
Defending champs for a reason, right?
And Gary Payton, we haven't seen Gary Payton either. We saw what he
Yep,
was
that's
up
true.
spark plug wise and off the bench and his defense. I don't know. And Kaminga's looking a little better. I don't like being on the Warriors. I hate this. I don't like this, but it's just my eyes tell me that they're looking good at the right time.
That's true. I mean, that's the NBA. That's college basketball. That's basketball. You got to be playing at the right time for things to really click. So yeah, the Warriors definitely have that going for them. Just I'm just so excited for these playoffs, man. And we're really talking about as it stands now, seeing the Mavs play the Grizzlies in the first round, the Clippers are playing the Nuggets, the Suns are playing the Warriors. Like we have some very, very good first round matchups. If it currently stands, I'm gonna go as far as saying one of those 1 or 2 seeds. It's tough. I definitely don't want to say Denver, but one of those teams is losing. I think the Mavs or the Clippers could pull off the upset in that first round. I really do. They
I
got the
mean,
talent.
John Morant situation,
Yeah, that's
especially
obviously.
like if he's not, at full peak performance, the Grizzlies are not the same.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially if he were to potentially face this long suspension and miss some of the playoff games, then they're screwed, obviously, at that
Yeah.
point.
I mean,
Mm.
it'd be fun though. Them against Dallas, basically like defense versus offense. That would be a
Right.
very interesting series.
Yeah.
But
That's
like
why I
Luke,
hope Gauze at least playing.
Luca's beating a jawless Memphis by himself, right? That's the level Luca's on.
Yeah.
We
And now
we
you're
know
throwing
this.
Kyrie in the mix too.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, Luca beat Kawhi and Paul George essentially, and almost
yeah,
beat them in a playoff series. Took them to 7 twice with worse Mavs teams. So it's gonna be fun. I love playoff basketball. It's the best part of the NBA for sure.
absolutely. Let's round up this episode then, Spinny, by giving our award predictions. You have the odds, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. MVP, what are the odds as they stand now?
MVP, Jokic minus 360, Giannis and Embiid tied plus 700, everyone else plus 3,000 or more.
It's obvious 3-man race, just like it was last year. Same 3 players. It's so tough for me to say this. I love this guy, probably the most out of these 3 players. It's just so tough to see a 3-time winner or 3 straight winner, I should say. But I'm picking Jokic. I really am. He's got the wins. He's got somehow even better stats, as you said earlier, at least from the efficiency standpoint. I just got to pick Jokic. I really do. Especially if a 7-foot center is out here averaging a triple double.
Yeah, I mean this award prediction, this award talk is going to be. Can we get anybody not to pick the favorite at this point?
Not the favorite.
Yeah, we've got to that point in the season. I think it's Jokic as well. Rookie of the year, biggest favorite, Paulo minus 1,700, Mathurin plus 1,600, and then Walker Kessler plus 4,000.
This is not even remotely a race here. Potentially even seeing a unanimous winner here, and that's obviously Paulo.
Yeah. DPOY, again, Jaren Jackson minus 185, Brook Lopez plus 350, Bam Adebayo plus 850.
I don't care how many freaking blocks this man has. I will never buy into this Brook Lopez crap. It is
Come on! He's a great defender.
He is a good defender, but Giannis is clearly the best defender on that team. You can't tell me he's not. So I'm not voting.
Not this season. Not this season.
I'm not voting Lopez over Giannis even. So it's like, it's ridiculous to me that he's this high. And
Triple J,
whatever
for you?
I'm picking Triple J, as much as it pains me to say, because I absolutely hate him and I absolutely hate the Grizzlies. But he's been the betting favorite for how long now? He's got a ridiculous amount of steals and blocks to back it up. So I'm going to rock him. My second choice would be Bam, though.
I think Brook could do it. I low-key think.
I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be so mad.
Brook Lopez is my favorite, is my second favorite non-favorite, if that makes sense. There's one other guy we're about to talk about here, though. Lauri Markkanen, most improved player, minus 250. Jalen Brunson, plus 350. Shai SGA, plus 650. What do you think?
So this is tough, because obviously last year I made the argument that Ja needs to be most improved. He made that jump from star to superstar, right?
Yep.
So based on that, I should theoretically make the same argument for Shai, right? Like, he has jumped essentially the same amount of points that Ja did. I mean, he's averaging over 30 while shooting over 50%. That's something that is ridiculous for a guard to do. Like, almost never been done in the NBA history for a guard to do that. So I should pick Shai. I got to pick the betting favorite here, and that's Lauri Markkanen. This man went from 15 points per game to 25, 10 points per game jump, all while improving his efficiency. He jumped 6% field goal, 5% three-point percentage, and then also is averaging 3 more rebounds per game this year. That's just incredible leap. Obvious first-time All-Star, and he's keeping the Jazz in the playoffs hunt. They might actually even make playoffs after everyone predicted the Jazz to be a bottom 5 team in the NBA this year.
It's a fair point. What do we know NBA awards are? Narrative awards. And the man that has won the narrative battle for this award.
You think so?
Jalen Brunson.
Man,
Jalen Brunson.
I don't even know if I agree with that, though. I really don't.
Why?
Because all year the narrative's been, oh my God, look at Lauri Markkanen. Look at Lauri Markkanen. Look at Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, but the late come on from Brunson in his last 2-month performances, the amount of times he's dropped 40 and high 30s and been super crazy shooting percentages, and the Knicks are coming on. I just think it could be a little sneaky, especially like the Knicks right now are only a game and a half back of that 4 seed. So I think if they make a run and flip-flop with Cleveland and finish strong here, and Brunson keeps up his maybe his, he's averaging about 24 per game right now, but just this late season has been so many times he's dropping 40. So,
I mean, last year he's only averaging like 17, right? Like, that's still like 6, 7, 8 point.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Comp, so,
yes, it's a great improvement. And it was awesome to see. Awesome to see the Nova boys starring in the league a little bit, getting a little name recognition in the league. But I just think that the way he has come on late in the season and the way he started to get recognition in his story, I'm going to take Brunson. My favorite non-favorite. My favorite non-favorite. Jalen Brunson.
You are taking Brunson. I didn't know if you were just saying you could see him win or if you were actually
taking him. I'm taking him. My
So
favorite,
Laurie's
not favorite, Jalen Brunson.
Markkanen's your 2 then there, or are you even taking Shy over him?
No, I'm marking into 2 then SGA.
Okay. I can
Six-man
accept that.
odds. This one's a two-man race, essentially. Malcolm Brogdon and Emmanuel Quickly. Malcolm Brogdon minus 185, Emmanuel Quickly plus 220. Then we got Norman Powell at plus 1,000, and then it's plus 4,500 or more from that.
Manuel quickly has better odds than Norman Powell.
Yeah, Emmanuel Quickly plus 220, Norman
I'm
Powell
not
plus
with that.
1,000.
I'm not with that whatsoever. He's
Really?
not even remotely in the race, in my opinion.
What?
No, he's not. He's really not. Brogdon and Powell having way better seasons off the bench. Powell leads the NBA in bench scoring this year. He does. Most points per game off the bench is Norman Powell. I'm not taking him. I'm taking Malcolm Brogdon. What that man has done off the bench, it's kind of like talking earlier with Alabama, Javon Quinterly accepting that 6-man role. Same type of situation here with Brogdon. He was a starter his whole career. Didn't need to do that. Like he could have, been like, no, I need to be a starter here. Like you guys got to start me. But he accepted it. Has played tremendously off the bench, and definitely a huge reason why your Celtics are a top 3 seed in the entire NBA. So I'm picking Malcolm Brogdon here.
Yeah, and I mean the crunch time lineup has been Brown, Tatum, Brogdon, Smart,
Right.
and the better playing between Horford and Williams. That is the crunch time. And Brogdon is a pretty good defender as well, flexible fix, and he impacts the game more than his scoring says as well. Just that playmaking, scoring, making the right decision. This is when we talked about this acquisition in the offseason. This was best case scenario. This is what I saw from Malcolm Brogdon. That was like the C's can take this extra step if they can get this guy. And Derek White has continued to play amazing as well, despite it. So it's just they have 4 guards, Smart, White, Brogdon, and Brown. Any 4 of those guys has been playing good enough to play the crunch time minutes. So it's just really, really fun to see. And Brogdon's been great. It's a home run for sure.
For sure. Last one then, Coach of the Year. What do you got? I'm picking
Coach
your mans.
You're picking my mans, huh?
I am. I'm picking 2 Celtics in a row here.
Tell us who you're going to pick while I find the odds. My Coach of the Year odds didn't pop up here.
I'm picking Joe Mazzulla. At least Vegas odds. I don't know what odds if you're reading DraftKings or FanDuel.
Yeah, I was on FanDuel.
I did see that Vegas odds, Mazzulla was the favorite. I'm picking Mazzulla. All that offseason crap coming in with Ime and whatnot, having to take that over and deal with that. Also, while being, I could be wrong with this, but he's one of the youngest, if not the youngest coach in the NBA. So to deal with all of that off the court crap and take over a team that just went to the NBA Finals, tons of pressure on this man. And he's only succeeded. I mean, they're literally the second best record in the NBA right now, only a half game behind the Bucks. So I'm picking him. My second choice, though, go ahead.
Current odds: Mike Brown minus 150, Joe Mazzulla plus 200, Mike Malone plus 350.
I would say my other choice is Mike Brown. He has your maybe your more typical Coach of the Year argument, taking a non-good team to being really good, top 3 seed in the West. So Mike Brown is definitely my second choice. I only picture being one of those 2.
Especially the offense. You can tell the Golden State influence that Mike Brown brought there. Their offense is nutty this year.
You taking Mike Brown also, or your man?
I'm taking Mike Brown, yeah. One guy I thought could be considered for this earlier that a little slip has been made, but I want to give credit to, and that's another former Celtics assistant, Will Hardy, the coach of the Jazz. He really has had the Jazz, even though they're slipping now, it's still overperforming of what we thought for them. So he has had them overperforming the whole year.
Yeah, that could be a dark horse candidate for sure. Well, Spinny, you have any other comments? Otherwise, we'll get our Hardys and Hardos out of here.
I got a couple Q&A questions for you,
Buzz. Oh, awesome. Let's do it.
I just wanted to ask you about how the first round of the Division III tournament went this previous weekend for Bethany. And just give me a little storyline about Tell the spiel, driving out there, how that all went, how the experience was, whole thing, impressions.
Amazing experience, obviously, for our guys, for us coaches, for everybody involved. Awesome experience. Great to be a part of that. We did unfortunately lose, for obviously most of y'all that follow us already saw that. We did lose to Hope College out of Michigan in the first round. I don't remember the final score, but the spread was 14. I remember we just came out in the first half. We weren't ourselves whatsoever. I mean, we were down 22 or 23 at halftime. So we won the second half by 8 points. Definitely played like ourselves in the second half. So it kind of hurts in that regard, knowing that we were essentially only one fluke half away from winning a national tournament game. So it definitely hurts and it's going to bother me for a little bit here. But absolutely incredible performance, I should say, from the guys all season. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more from a coach. So proud of everyone 1 through 24. I mean, we went 23-5 this year. We have people across Bethany campus saying that was potentially the best team, not just basketball team, but team in school history. So we're good. I mean, I don't know what else to say. 23-5. We won regular season conference. We won the tournament conference. We had all 5 starters in double digits per game. We were 5th in the entire country in scoring per game. We're top 10 in field goal percentage, assists. Like this was really a historic season for us.
And all the main contributors coming back, correct?
Yep, our first 7 in rotation are all coming back. We did lose a couple key bench guys to being seniors. We lost 4 seniors, all irreplaceable too. All 4 of our seniors, tremendous leaders this year. Cooper and Carter Hansen, Alex Sharma, and Tom Daka. So shout out to those 4 guys for what they did for our program, and we will definitely miss those guys. But yeah, we do return our top 7 guys. So next year, we're going to be pretty dangerous again. It's going to be tough though. Winning college championships, conference championships in college, not easy. Doesn't matter who you got on your team, but you got to show up every single day and put the work in no matter what. So we just got to stay hungry and stay motivated.
Love it. Any funny, you got any funny little interaction or something crazy, unexpected that happened, or anything, any impressions from UW Oshkosh, right? That was the whole site. Anything impressionable from the gym, or just give us a little fun facts time with Bus.
No really funny things come to mind, but Oshkosh definitely, they know what they're doing out there. Amazing facility. This school, for those that don't know, 15,000 students. 15,000. They have just as many enrolled as Minnesota State Mankato, which is a D2 school. So they have the facilities. They know what they're doing. They've definitely hosted tournaments before. It was just an incredible experience from top to bottom. Oshkosh, they had won, for those that don't know, they won the national title in 2019. We didn't even have, we had one last year, but they were essentially the second most recent title winner because of COVID. COVID canceled 2 tournaments for D3. So Randolph-Macon won last year, and they're the one seed. They're the favorite to repeat. That team is ridiculous. If you ever have a chance to watch Randolph-Macon, watch them. Last year, their closest tournament game was like 20, 25 points. Like they just literally obliterated everybody. I did lose their best player, but yeah, they're still the betting favorite. But yeah, Oshkosh, I was very impressed with their facility, but given the fact that they have 15,000 students, it definitely made sense. I mean, they had a Jumbotron. We're talking a D3 gym. They had a Jumbotron up there. It was incredible.
As much as I hate to give Wisconsin credit, the UW schools that I've been to do it right. River Falls, where I am employed now, has a wonderful, crazy, awesome gym with a Jumbotron and like live replay and a bunch of cool D3 stuff and about 8,000 students. So it's just really cool upper level D3. So fun to see that from the WIAC. But
the one weird thing with their facility is like the locker rooms are like 10,000 miles away from the gym. It felt like we're running down multiple staircases and then through like multiple hallways. Like it was ridiculous.
Guys are getting tired running to the gym. They're like breathing.
our locker room was like inside another locker room too, so we had to like. Plus, we had to like go through construction. They were like redoing the outside of this locker room, so we had to like travel through a construction zone through this other locker room to get into our locker room, and it was weird to see. Like I figured they would be right next to the gym, but I mean, you have that big of a facility, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fun. Well, good luck, and it wasn't the way you wanted to end exactly, but next year looks promising. So lots of good things to come.
Yep, definitely on the come up. Bethany basketball.
All right, Hardies and Ardos. I think that's it for us today. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with you later this week, where Bus will be dumping a bunch of liquids on his face. So come join us.
Don't let me forget this time. Don't let me forget.
Hug your
All
friends
right,
and
y'all.
family.